So in this video, Big D asks a common question. I have been having resistance in cutting with my TS saw. Now, I could tell him to go back and look at a bunch of videos we've already done, and they were smaller videos, but I'm gonna combine it all into one TS maintenance and setup video for you to watch. So check it out.
All right, Sedge. So the other day, I was ripping in my garage with my track saw, and I started to get a little resistance, and it wasn't normal. So like, where do I check now?
So there's hesitation, stuff like that. Okay. Well, first thing I'm going to tell you is, have you been using it a lot?
Yes.
Okay, so automatically people go, oh, I've been using my blade a lot. They think they need a new blade. So I always tell everybody, make sure you clean your blade. And then so when you get home, clean your blade. That's probably the problem with it. But let's change the blade so you can see. It's a 5mm hex that's stored on board, and this is what it's called, fast fix. You pull it up and three things happen. It's got to be set past 25mm for it to engage. You lift up this on-off switch and it locks down. Okay, so I'll automatically look at the blade right here, and you see how I'm starting to see some marks here, and you start to see some gumming. You should clean a blade. We've already done a video. I'm not going to bore you in this video about how to clean a blade and what we use to clean blades, but this blade probably needs cleaning. Yours probably does as well. Okay. So three things happen when I put it in fast fix. The blade locks down, the arbor lock locks, okay, and the switch, in case you haven't taken a plug-it cord off, locks as well. So you just take the blade off like this, spins off. What model is this? This is the EQ. This is a few years old.
From 07, okay. I think.
And there you go. And then you take your riving knife, you punch it up like this, you take your blade off, go ahead and clean it. So that's rule number one, is clean your blade.
Okay.
Okay, it's always good to maintain a clean blade so you have an effective cut.
Keep your blades clean.
Okay, so you've cleaned the blade. Now you may have resistance on a different way, and hopefully I explained this right. So when you first got your track saw, okay, I know you did this. You knocked out the lateral tolerance because I taught you this. This is so important because if it's wobbling down and you haven't tightened it up, your splinter guard won't be precisely cut. So what you want to do is, this is the way I do it. I take these cams and I tighten them all the way, which I've taught you, okay? This doesn't move, right? So what I'll do is we'll take it and we'll slowly back them off just to make sure there's no lateral tolerance. Okay, there's no slop. Okay, now feel that. Tell me that's how yours is sliding right now.
That slides pretty good.
But let's take the saw off. I'll have you hold it here, Big D. So I'll explain something. This saw is not really riding on the rail. This whole sole is riding on these two strips, these PFTE strips, polyfluoro tetraethylene. They're very slick. So remember in a previous video I told you not to spray this all down because it doesn't make a difference on the rail at all.
Right.
Okay. This here is only riding on these bars right here. See them? Okay. And these touch points for the cams right here is pinching on here. So what I tell everybody is take this, I love this product, this dry lube, spray it in here, and you'll see the video where I explain it, and then I let it dry, okay? And also, Chris, come back in here so you can see this. Right here, you see the rub point here. I'll take that, make sure that lube's on here. Now there's another product I use. It's called Renaissance Wax. I'll actually sometimes put a little on there as well, and across the bars and on my cams. So whether you use dry lube or this Renaissance Wax, it works perfect.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the other thing I want to explain. When I tell people the thickness of the rail is 5mm, it really is. But people will measure this right here, and they'll say, no, Sedge, that's not 5mm. Well, I want you to understand this, okay? As I take this rule right here, okay? And I put it on the PFT strip. See how there's a crown to it?
Yeah.
So now you actually know that the rail, I mean the saw is not riding on this part, it's actually riding on these strips. So when I take this, okay, and I'm gonna take a 5mm domino and put it there. Look how that's perfectly across. So that is a 5mm offset perfectly.
That's cool.
Okay, so there's some tips there. A little bit of maintenance tips on your track saw and on your rail, so you know that track saw will just run perfectly. Those are the two things that I can think of where you may be having some resistance in your cut.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks.
so as we always say,
Be positive
and stay sharp.